Welcome to #Discord Sings. This is the start of the Discord Sings channel.
Go wild. Yes. Fuck yes. Fuck yeah. Oh no.
And so,
Hell yeah. Oh god.
and so in the reign of Queen George VII, and so in the reign of Queen George VII, it came to pass that the Moon Kaiser, commissioned the construction of a vast lunar cannon,
Come on guys, we've barely started.
aimed directly at London.
Town.
Soon every man, woman, and
Child.
strong enough to hold a rifle was conscripted and sent off to fight for Queen and country.
Child. Shut up.
I was serving in the 42nd Starborn Division while Tim was still busy being mortal. Like an idiot. Like a wanker. I can almost hear the recruiter's ad now.
Wrap yourself a laser lad and serve your queen with a smile, smile,
Snile.
smile, with a smile, smile,
Snile.
smile, boys, that's the style. Come on a grand adventure. Light 'em with your Lucifer and burn 'em clean. Light 'em with your Lucifer and burn 'em clean. Light 'em with your Lucifer and burn 'em clean. Against a foe most vile, smile boys, with a smile, smile. Against a foe most vile, smile boys, that's the style. So, grab yourself a laser lad and serve your queen with a smile.
What the fuck happened here?
Smile.
I hate you people, stop skipping lines.
Come on, boys. The moon's not so far. away, and we'll be home by Christmas. Lenny won't know what hit him. Be home by Christmas. Let's give the Kaiser a damn good thrashing. Let's give the Kaiser a damn good thrashing. Lenny won't know what hit him. So join the Starborn Infantry and serve your country. So join the Starborn Infantry and serve your country.
Of course, when Tim arrived, alongside his best friend Bertie, it was a very different story indeed. Best friend.
Winky face.
The surface of the moon had been deserted for centuries. The surface of the moon had been deserted for centuries. The surface of the moon had been deserted for centuries, so all the fighting took place in the vast caverns and tunnels that riddled it. It was muddy. It was dusty. It was cold. It was muddy. It was dusty. It was cold. It was dusty. It was muddy. It was dusty. It was cold. And most of the time it was pitch dark. And most of the time it was pitch dark. Aside from muzzle flashes. Aside from muzzle flashes.
Or the energy. Enemy.
And aside from that, you always had to keep one ear open for the alarms. And most of the time it was pitch dark. Aside from muzzle flashes. Or your comrades catching fire as the invisible beam of heat swept through no man's land.
Y'all. I know.
And aside from that,
In my defense, I'm very stupid.
I was having a great time. If it was a gas attack, you could usually get to a respirator in time,
Shit. Nice job, Vanny.
or maybe even trust the pumps to take care of it.
Fuck off, Sage. Vanny.
But if it was a microwave attack,
Wait, is it Gas Next or Soldier Song?
you had to get to one of your foxholes You had to get to one of your foxholes and cover yourself in lead, or you'd be cooked from the inside out. I was having a great time. But Tim and Bertie... I was having a great time. But Tim and Bertie...
gassed last night.
But Tim and Bertie found their own ways to deal with it.
Gassed last night. Gassed last night.
Found their own ways to deal with it. Found their own ways to deal with it.
And gassed the night before. And gassed the night before. Gonna be gassed tonight. Gonna be gassed tonight. Gonna be gassed tonight. If we're never gassed no more.
When you're gassed, you're sick as you can be. When you're gassed, cousin of a choc and
Mustard gas.
are much too much for me. Cousin of a choc and mustard gas. Cousin of a choc and mustard gas are much too much for me. Cousin of a choc and mustard gas are much too much for me. They're choking us.
Mustard.
They're choking us. They're choking us. They're choking us. One respirator and it broke on us. Thank your lucky stars that the pumps still work. Thank your lucky stars that the pumps still work. Thank your lucky stars that the pumps still work. 'Cause coughing up your lungs can be a chore.
Cooked last night and cooked the night before. Cooked last night.
Gonna be cooked tonight. Gonna be cooked tonight. If we're never cooked no more. When you're cooked, you're hot as you can be. 'Cause the Kaiser wants to microwave the British infantry. 'Cause the Kaiser wants to microwave the British infantry. 'Cause the Kaiser wants to microwave the British infantry. 'Cause the Kaiser wants to microwave the British infantry. They're boiling us.
Yum.
They're boiling us. They're boiling us. One lead sheet between the four of us. Thank your lucky stars that you taste so good. One lead sheet between the four of us. Thank your lucky stars that you taste so good. 'Cause you wouldn't want your corpse to go to waste. 'Cause you wouldn't want your corpse to go to waste.
But I was not the only mechanism
'Cause you wouldn't want your corpse to go to waste.
involved in the fighting. The toy soldier had enlisted alongside me, claiming that it would be jolly good fun. Jolly good fun. Jolly good fun. And indeed for the first few months, fought valiantly by my side, but it was then we discovered something interesting about it. It would obey any order, but it didn't necessarily matter which uniform the person giving the order wore. But it didn't necessarily matter which uniform the person giving the order wore. Given to the letter.
Well, what can I say? Your uniforms were all green and rumpled, and their helmets had spikes on them.
Space, you jumped in early. Fuck.
It disappeared after a few months.
Something.
No connection is drawn to our Baron Marius.
Only to be captured later by our side, wearing the uniform of a corporal. Then later, the colonel giving us our orders had a rather familiar moustache.
Even here you made general at one point for the other side.
Well, what can I say? Your uniforms were all green and rumpled, and their helmets had spikes on them.
Still, it seemed happy enough, after its fashion.
I should at this point make sure that no connection is drawn to our Baron Marius, who is... lots of militaries have spikes on their helmets. Don't make a thing out of this.
Relation to the date expunged army. Date edited X/30/X. There is no connection between Baron Marius von Rom and date expunged.
Still, it seemed happy enough, after its fashion.
When little generals play at war, they don't care what they're fighting for. When little generals play at war, playground battlefields arrive with soldier toys.
What's cheating and do you know it? I typed it up myself, fuck you.
Marching ever through the night. Marching ever through the night. Orders fly.
Regret.
Orders fly. Retreat. Attack. Attack.
Fuck. Regret.
Away commands until he obeys.
Fuck off. Regret.
Out in the stars and far away.
The war continued like this for 3 or 4 years. The war continued like this for 3 or 4 years. Grim and desperate tunnel warfare. Until
Boyfriend.
Bertie, until Tim's best friend did what young men at war are prone to do. Until Tim's best friend Bertie did what young men at war are prone to do. Did what young men at war are prone to do. And died. And died. And died.
Retreat.
The details are muddy, pointless, and quite frankly hilarious. And quite frankly hilarious.
Retreat.
But what's interesting is the effect it had.
On young Tim.
Will matter all the
men with fury haven't sent.
will matter all the will matter all the
Men with fury haven't sent. Albert Carpet, Lenny's fellows.
will matter all the
Men with fury haven't sent. Albert Carpet, Lenny's fellows with their hands have been spent. They tried to shake a firm result, but haven't made a dent. They tried to shake a firm result, but haven't made a dent. And the blood will run like wine.
take the prisoners,
Give no quarter.
take the prisoners,
Give no quarter.
show them all the color of their entrails on the floor. But the guys and the candles
The slaughter.
but the guys and the candles
The slaughter. And the blood will run like wine. And the blood will run like wine.
but the guys and the candles
The slaughter. And the blood will run like wine.
will suck the ragged eyeballs
And the sockets of their skulls have existence of a bad disease. Have existence of a bad disease. There needs to be a cut upon their ancestors. Press our bayonets will duck upon their ancestors. Press our bayonets will duck upon their ancestors. Press our bayonets will duck. And the blood will run like wine.
take the prisoners,
No quarter.
take the prisoners,
No quarter.
take the prisoners,
No quarter.
take the prisoners,
No quarter. The
guys and the candles
to the slaughter.
show them all the color of their entrails on the floor. Show them all the color of their entrails on the floor. The guys and the candles
To the slaughter. And the blood will run like wine. All together now.
Fuck this mayhem, I'm gonna go blow up the fucking moon.
take the prisoners, take the prisoners,
No quarter.
show them all the color, show them all the color of their entrails on the floor. The guys and the candles of their entrails on the floor.
And the blood to the slaughter.
The guys and the candles
To the slaughter. Will run like wine.
So Gunpowder Tim cut a bloody red path
Yale.
And the blood will run like wine.
through cannon and through infantry, through cannon and through infantry, dealing out his wrath, dealing out his wrath, dealing out his wrath. Battalions were gathered, dealing out his wrath, and charged with his destruction, but all of them fell to his maddened corruption, but all of them fell to his maddened corruption. Such violence can't last though, when a Lenny lined a rifle up and let the lead fly, when a Lenny lined a rifle up and let the lead fly, and Tim's luck ran dry, when a Lenny lined a rifle up and let the lead fly, and when he awoke, he was chilled to the bone, he was chilled to the bone, kneeling unarmed at the Moon Kaiser's throne, at the Moon Kaiser's throne, and the Kaiser just smiled,
That's not how you spell the type of throne.
and the Kaiser just smiled with his crown all askew, saying, well now my friend, it's a pleasure to meet you, saying, well now my friend, it's a pleasure to meet you, it seems you've made a habit of hacking up my boys,
God, I can't type.
so I'll return the favour. An extended execution by royalty appointed. And I warn you, the last one left me very disappointed. An extended execution by royalty appointed, with all the means I can employ. So the Kaiser opens up a box and shows young Tim my head, and shows young Tim my head. Fresh severed. But I winked at him, I guess I wasn't dead. Seeing there was hope,
Time.
looked around the room. The toy soldier, in uniform with a royal guardsman's plume. Accidentally it had joined the Kaiser's personal guard. Accidentally it had joined the Kaiser's personal guard.
Time. Fuck you.
but it still followed any order if you gave it nice and hard. Behind the throne the great gun stood aimed right at London town. Tim had his plan and he prepared to bring the despots down. With the lunar cannon loaded and his fuse prepared to light, Tim looked the soldier in the eye and he gave the order: fight! Fight!
Fuck.
Retreat!
Fight! Fight! Chaos came through the Kaiser's men, the violence quick and mad. As the wooden man obeyed the mission briefing that it had. As the wooden man obeyed the mission briefing that it had.
CFDGHSJFKLGJKHDAL.
I spun my severed head and bit the Kaiser on the nose. He screamed in shock and dropped me, so I went after his toes. Confusion raged and took his leave and ran towards the gun. He turned the dial so right around the cannon barrel spun. He didn't know the firing codes, it wouldn't stop him long. For the brutal hymn of Gunpowder remained his favourite song. For the brutal hymn of Gunpowder remained his favourite song. And with a barrel from the armoury, he set the fuse alight. And fled into the life pod where the Kaiser spent the night. The pod was shielded hard against the force of 20 suns, but Tim couldn't get the visor closed before the fuse was done.
Fuck you.
Against the force of 20 suns.
Divani.
Blew the moon out of the sky. So when the lunar cannon fired and blew the moon out of the sky, the piercing brightness of the blast burned out our hero's eyes.
Fuck.
With the force of every weary soldier's tunnel bomb, the explosion ripped through full moon's heart like that. The moon was gone. Like that. The moon was gone.
Fucking finally.
With the force of every weary soldier's tunnel bomb.
Finally. Fuck you people, you skipped a line.
And that, boys and girls, is why there's no longer a moon.
Fuck the moon, me and my homies all hate the moon.